groups tonight as they meet in the Forum for the final time this season. Hello again. Matt Foley and Dale Talon for the Blackhawks and the Montreal Canadiens. We have tonight a matchup of two of the top teams in the entire National Hockey League. Before we take a closer look at that, news made off the ice just a short time ago. Veteran defenseman Rob Ramage, a guy who was much sought after by many teams, is coming to the Canadiens. He was one of the people that Blackhawks were supposed to be going for, but Serge Savard has pulled the trigger on the deal.
Well, a lot of teams interested in Ramage because of experience. Jacques Demers coached them, so he felt they needed some toughness on the blue line and some experience on the blue line. They have a young defensive core, not very physical, not very big, very mobile, and they felt that Ramage would give them that experience, that physicality, that ability to play in the tough situations in the playoffs.
So Rob Ramage will come to the Canadiens down the stretch to try to bolster their defensive core. Meanwhile, the Montreal Canadiens used to be known as the Flying Frenchmen, and in the last couple of years they took on a very different flavor, a team that relied on as many Americans in key positions as Canadians. They were a grinded-out team that tried to score 3 goals and make that stand up. Jacques Demers took over behind the bench. He freed up the reins a little bit. It served them well. They are tied for the overall lead in the National Hockey League, and the Blackhawks are not far behind in the overall standings.
Well, they are a different club. They used to play bump and grind, as you said, and now they've got into more of an offensive situation. They have scored more goals than they have in the past years. They've scored 100 goals in the third period alone. They have 92 points, and they're chasing Pittsburgh for first overall, and it's a tightly packed race. A lot of teams have that ability to win first overall, and we saw last year in the playoffs how important that is. Pittsburgh and Chicago were tied for their same point total, but Pittsburgh had more wins. They got home ice, and they won that first game and went on to win the Stanley Cup. So it's very important for these teams to keep their momentum going into the playoffs.
Talking about the years gone by, the Flying Frenchmen, the Montreal Canadiens, have 4 guys who have scored 30 goals or more already. One of them is Vincent Damphousse, their leading scorer. The most he's ever had is 94 points. He's got 87 now.
They got off to a slow start, only had 11 goals in his first 28 games, but he's leading the team now, and that was quite a trade from the Edmonton Oilers. He's a prolific scorer. He's got great speed, and you have to pay special attention to him, especially on the power play. He's got a great shot. We saw him at the All-Star game in Chicago. Give him time and room, he'll score.
Talk about trades. A guy that the Canadiens picked up has been a great find for them the last couple of years. One of the best two-way centermen in the league, Kirk Muller.
I love Kirk Muller. He plays it hard-nosed every game in and game out. He goes in the corners. He's tough in front of the net. Doesn't have breakaway speed, but he's got great balance. He gets the puck out of the corner. He makes plays. He's solid defensively, and he's a real gritty customer. He's a team leader.
And talk about another guy that the Canadiens acquired via the trade route, a former thorn in the Hawks side, and when he was in the North Division with the Minnesota North Stars, Brian Bellows is here with 33 goals.
Well, I'm glad he got traded to Montreal and out of the North Division because he scored 8 goals last year against the Blackhawks and always been a nemesis against the Blackhawks. He's been solid for them, not great, but solid with the Montreal Canadiens, and adds a little more physical play to their forward position.
You know, quite a job that the Canadian management has done here. Serge Savard, the former star defenseman, now running the team in terms of the general manager position. He said the other day, you know, we're drafting it down the list every year. We can't pick a Matt Sundin in the draft. We got to do it via the trade route, and he's pulled off some dandies the last few seasons.
Well, they do have a surplus of young French-Canadian players. They have scouts all over the province of Quebec and Eastern Canada, and they find these young players, these young French-Canadian defensemen, and if they don't pan out, they package them in a deal and get an experienced player like a Muller or whoever to help improve their club. You have to be savvy, and the Canadian organization has been at the best for years and years with 23 Stanley Cups. I think they know what to do.
Meanwhile, the Blackhawks come in here with an undefeated streak of 5 games on the road, 4 wins and a tie in the last 5 outings on the road as far as the Blackhawks are concerned. And the team leader as far as the Chicago team, a Norris Trophy candidate, and I think a candidate, he should be a candidate for MVP in the league. Chris Chelios comes back to the place he once starred.
No doubt about it. I think he's probably more relaxed now. Coming back to the Forum, first couple of times probably was nerve-wracking for him, but it's been a while now. He's really settled in nicely, and he is a candidate for MVP and Norris Trophy. He's a shoo-in for the Norris Trophy, and is a strong candidate for MVP. He played 38 minutes in the win against Calgary. He and Steve Smith and all the Hawk defensemen played marvelously.
Meanwhile, also playing well overall for the season, the Blackhawks' leading scorer is Jeremy Roenick. He's gunning for his 40th goal of the year tonight.
3 goals in his last 2 games after slumping prior to that. 6 goals in his last 10, but he's got 50 assists and 89 points, and he and Joe Murphy and Steve Larmer now are starting to click on all cylinders. The last couple of games, it seemed that Joe Murphy was starting to get in sync with both Larmer and Roenick.
role players, as far as the Hawks are concerned, are just as important as some of their veteran snipers, and the Blackhawks have a guy who used to belong to the Montreal Canadiens, and they wouldn't know what to do without him, but Jocelyn Lemieux has been a very fine player, even though the stats don't always show it.
Well, you don't expect him to score. When he scores, it's a bonus. He just bowls people over. He played marvelously in Calgary and really outstanding against Edmonton. He has really shown a lot of confidence in his ability to handle the puck. He's handling it better than he ever has, and Daryl Sutter's responding by throwing him out there almost every other shift.
Meanwhile, the Blackhawks, we talked earlier about the 1-2 punch that they have in goal, and tonight a kid who grew up in this area and has always shined against the Canadiens. He picked up his first win ever against this team, and he whitewashed the Canadiens earlier this season. Jimmy Waite gets the call.
Well, pretty good record for Waite against the Canadiens, a team he grew up idolizing. Patrick Roy was probably one of his idols, so it's a big motivational factor. You'll have to get off to a good start, obviously. First start since February 21st, where he did win against Calgary. He was a little bit shaky, but finished strongly. He hasn't played in a while. He's going to have a big start.
Two of the NHL's elite square off here tonight in the Forum, one of hockey's palaces. The Blackhawks and the Montreal Canadiens will come back to Montreal, get it started after this time out on the Hawk Network.
Sports.
Opera singers are allowed to sing the anthems before the home games here for the Montreal Canadiens. The officials tonight, Paul Dvorsky will be the referee, the linesmen Ron Finn and Mark Vines.
Jimmy Waite with 2 victories in his career against the Canadiens and a .50 goals against average. He's 6-6-1. His last win was February 21st, a 4-3 victory over Calgary. And Patrick Roy, all-time all-star here of 8 years. He's won 20 or more games. He won 36 last year. 29, 18, and 5 with a 3.10 goals against average. Highest goals against average ever for Patrick Roy in his career. The highest prior to that was 2.93 in his second season.
And here we go now as the draw is controlled by the Blackhawks. Chris Chelios in his own end. Leave it to Steve Smith, scooping it out to center. Bouncing puck there. Roenick had to turn for it. And gave it to Chelios, who feeds Murphy up the right side. Joe Murphy failed to get it in deep, and the Canadiens own a line. Tips it ahead. Mike Keane to the Hawk line. And it's swept away by Chris Chelios nicely to the corner. They battle there. The puck cleared around to the near side. Roberge chases it down, leaving for Keane, who's centered. Carbonneau, a shot right on, and a save by Waite. Good chance for Guy Carbonneau, and Jimmy Waite gets a feel for the puck early.
The checking line employed by Montreal. Carbonneau, one of the best defensive forwards in history. 3 times he's won the Selke. He starts out against the Roenick line. Mateau gets a start on the left wing. A quick pass out front to Carbonneau, who missed 23 games with a problem in the leg. And Jimmy Waite makes a save early, gets a feel for the puck, and that's got to help his confidence. A tough year for Carbonneau. Held out on the new contract. He got hurt. talk about maybe trading him.
He's missed 23 games this season. Boy, the Canadiens, amazingly, the point total they have, especially when you consider the number of injuries that they've suffered through. They've had a lot of guys, fairly key players who have missed 20 games or more. Here's a chance for Dufresne. He shot it just wide. And behind the Hawk net it goes. Kirk Muller jammed loose, centering a drive, deflected wide. And now corralled by Michel Goulet, who cleared it to center. Steve Smith flipping it into the Montreal zone. Donald Dufresne back for the home team. Dufresne put it to the left wing boards, and Leclerc unable to get it out. Here's Goulet trying to center, but nobody home in front. And Brisebois cleared it to center right. Barry Lehman to the Hawk line, looking for Muller to the corner. He centered right through Lehman's skates it went, and Graham and Ruutu counter. Graham will fire one from center. It deflects right back to him. Then he feeds Kuchera with a wrist shot, and Patrick Roy down to stop that easily. John Leclerc out to center, flipped it to the Hawk line. It's taken there by Steve Larmer. Larmer on right wing here in his first shift of the game. He's out with Sutter and Lemieux. Murphy and Mateau to start off for Chicago. Here comes Bellows on right wing with a long shot. Waits to save, gave a rebound. It's chipped away by Chelios. And Jocelyn Lemieux shot it to center, where Larmer puts it in. To the near side, Lemieux had it knocked off his stick. Out down Foose, feeds to Bellows over the line. He shoots. That is saved by Wade. He was leaning the wrong way, but kicked back to the right. Made a good pad save. And now the Hawks unable to clear it. And then Lemieux got a second chance and flipped it outside the line. Canadiens put it back in, but then peel off for a change. Here comes Chelios. He shot it into the Montreal zone. Odeline back. Give it to Haller, who clears it back into Chicago territory. Marchment cleared it outside the line. Beat Pietro. Brought it back in offside, and Cam Russell didn't like the fact he shot the puck, and he knocked him down, and the Canadiens get in Russell's face. Todd Ewan foremost among them.
Well, good start for Jimmy Waite. You expected maybe the Blackhawks to be a bit slow to start after 4 days off and having not much practice time, going to Banff to relax. An early practice yesterday morning in Calgary before the long flight. Now Odeline and Grimson.
Grimson throws the gloves off with Todd Ewan. Ewan does not throw his off, and Grimson, I believe, will get a penalty as a result. Grimson, or I should say Ewan and Odeline, two fairly tough customers for the Canadiens, were trying to get at Cam Russell. And referee Dvorsky will have a host of early penalties here.
I think the Canadiens will probably get a power play. Grimson and Russell both in the box. Todd Ewan, the solo Canadian, in the box. I would imagine that Russell and Ewan will offset, and Grimson will get the additional two. Now they give Odeline a penalty as well, so maybe there will not be a power play. So the Hawks get a break there. Both captains are over now to discuss it, and Dvorsky says that's enough. This is the way it's going to happen, and I don't want to discuss it. And that's a good play on his part. DiPietro let the shot go after the whistle on goal. Russell knocked him over, as you should, because that's your goaltender you're protecting. And then Ewan and Odeline came in. Watch your heart, Jock. You already had one stint in the hospital. Take it easy. Cholesterol levels up pretty high.
Demers indeed, not long ago, had a big scare. He, of course, missed a couple of games because he was hospitalized after having chest pains. They said they didn't really find anything seriously wrong with his heart, but they've advised him, and it's something he's heard before, they've advised him to look after himself a little bit better. He's a voracious eater when the nerves start.
He eats a lot too, doesn't he?
Especially when he gets nervous.
At 2 minutes 41 seconds.
But he gets a little exercised here behind the Canadian bench. Meanwhile, back to the play. All the penalties negate, so we remain with full strength on the ice, and the puck is shot into the Hawk zone. Kuchera's back. Frank Kuchera pushing it to the neutral zone. Taken by the Canadian Sean Hill. And Carbonneau tried to clear it, but it bounced up over the glass into the crowd.
Montreal coming off a big win Thursday in Quebec. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games. They've scored 41 goals. They've given up 32. The Blackhawks, on the other hand, have only scored 27, but they've only lost twice because their goals against is 26 against in 10 games. And their penalty killing is over 90%, where the Canadiens' penalty killing is dipped under 80 in that span.
The Blackhawks have the second best road winning percentage in the entire league. The Hawks are 5 games over 500 on the road. Only Quebec has a better discrepancy than that. The Hawks are 18, 13, and 5 away from home coming into the game tonight. We mentioned 4 wins and a tie in their last 5 road games. They'll be put to the test tonight against a strong Montreal squad. Has a very solid home record. They've been defeated only 9 times on home ice this year. 25, 9, and 2. 9 out of 36 is all they've lost. Stefan Matteau, I think Darryl Sutter clearly, Dale, in the early going in this game anyway, would like to try to use Steve Larmer on right wing, as his production has fallen a bit since moving to the left side. And he mentioned it's not offensively it hurts him so much, it's really the defensive end of the ice where he excels, and having to play with his forehand along the boards has not been a very easy transition for him. Here's the draw to the Canadiens for Bear. The Hawk line. Roenick jostled him there, and Montreal's in offside.
Well, just taking a little bit of time. The Hawks starting to get their legs now and a little timing. First couple of shifts, Montreal had 2 quality chances, and the Hawks looked a bit disoriented, but they've picked it up the last couple of shifts. And if they can stay close for this first period, get through this first period, and get better as the game wears on, as they normally do, they'll be in good shape. They haven't lost in 5 straight on the road with 4 victories and a tie.
Now the draw. John Hill hoisting it into the Hawk zone. Elios bumped by Leclerc behind the net, but shot it around the boards, and Goulet jammed it loose to Smith. Right wing for Graham to center. He has Ruutu on the come. Graham takes a look for Ruutu. He's in. He shoots. Shot it just wide. Ruutu pulled away from his check with an explosion at center, and Graham made a great feed, but Ruutu missed the net. Now the Canadiens look to clear, and it winds up in their bench.
Well, they had Rob beaten. He just missed the net. It was the right shot, trying to go high over the shoulder, and he missed the net with the right shot.
It's early in the game. We have no score in Montreal on the Hawk Network.
And Christian Ruutu combined for the first good quality chance for the Blackhawks, but Ruutu shot it wide.
Kevin Haller deep in his own end. Sets up the Montreal breakout. Haller, long feed off the stick of teammate Gary Lehman, and it winds up out of play.
Christian Ruutu with a good job there. The Hawks were in good position as the Canadiens tried to break out. With everyone standing still, as Muller swept wide to the near corner, and Haller wasn't quite sure what to do, and he put it hard to the right wing, and it was deflected off the stick. Meanwhile, Ruutu, who has 9 goals and 34 points in 44 games against Montreal, just missed as he beat Waugh. He had him flat-footed, but missed the far post by an inch.
Sutter with Larmer on the right and Lemieux on the left for Chicago. Dennis Savard on the ice at center for the Canadiens with Bellows and Danfus. A very potent line out there for the Canadiens. Here's the draw shot into the Hawk zone. Kuchera jammed it loose and cleared it to Lemieux. Moving it in there. Patrick Wild to play it up the near side. Larmer held it in. Larmer jammed it loose just behind Lemieux in the corner, though. And it bounced in front to Larmer. And Dufresne saved a goal. Larmer was about to pump it into an empty net, and Donald Dufresne, a great job for the Canadiens, as Waugh was caught behind the net. Here's Brent Sutter leaving in there deep. Brisbois took a hit, clearing it around the far side. Dennis Savard comes away, gets away from Sutter, steps over the line, Looks for it down Foose, and that pass just barely failed to click. Here's Bellows out of the far corner for Savard. He tried to center it, but there was nobody at the near post. And now the Hawks Sutter able to bang one back into the Montreal zone.
A nifty one-handed maneuver by Savard to elude the check for Brent Sutter at the red line.
Lead Smith for Roenick, trying to center one. It deflects to Roberge. Mario Roberge looks for Mike Keane. He had one hand in his stick, couldn't hold the pass. Jimmy Waite played it up the far side. Mateau is surrounded by Canadiens. But oh, Steve Smith just leveled Carbonneau. Could have gotten a penalty, but the play goes on as Chelios has a broken stick hampering him. Trying to control the puck. He cleared it up the near side. Canadiens keep it in. Keane's shot is blocked. Into the near corner, Roberge. Put it in behind. Carbonneau couldn't find the handle. Smith does, and Keane stepped into him. Getting help from Carbonneau, who centered, and Roenick able to steal that. He gave it to Joe Murphy. He'll just chip it back into the Montreal zone. Now Haller ran out of room at center. Goulet trying to feed Rutu, and that didn't click. Ryan Bellows dumping one in. Michel Goulet quickly ahead to Rutu. 3-on-3 to the Canadian line. He was poke checked there. And now Montreal's Dufresne carries it into the Hawk zone with a wrist shot. Wait to save. He wasn't sure where it was. He took the anxious look behind, thinking it might have snuck between the legs, but it laid in front of him, and then he located and covered.
Well, a good start for Dufresne. He saves a sure goal in his own zone earlier when the puck squirted loose to Larmer. And he makes a rush up the ice and lets one go. Didn't get much on it, but for some reason, Waite really struggled with it. Made the save, looked behind him on the wrist shot from the top of the circle. That's the first one he's looked a bit shaky on. He's looked very sharp in the early going. The team has had a lot of chances. Dufresne lets the wrist shot go. He's not going to go much further than that. He's a defensive-minded defenseman. One of the things the Merce wanted to do this year is get their defense more involved with the offense to catch up, and it's worked for them. They missed their best offensive defenseman, Matthew Schneider, who's been out for a while and will be out for at least another 10 days. Meanwhile, Waugh was out. He put it off Lemieux and went right to Larmer, but Dufresne at the last second was able to deflect it into the corner to the right as Larmer was bearing in on it.
Seven minutes gone in the opening period. No score in Hockey Palace, the Forum in Montreal. What a wonderful place this is. And I want to get your thoughts in a while, Dale, because you've come here many times, and I guess there will be a new Forum here eventually. Meanwhile, the play is in the Canadian zone, but not for long, and not back into the Hawk end. And Marchment beating Troy Murray. To center. Bourgeois stepped into him with an aggressive hit, and now DiPietro down into the Hawk end. And Russell gave it to Dirk Graham. Giving to Roenick at center. His pass deflecting, and Marchment stuck his leg out. He took Dion's knee out, I think. Gilbert Dion is hurt, and Brian Marchment will get a penalty, and he should, and it might be a major. Gilbert Dion sent sprawling just outside the Hawk line as Marchment clearly stuck his leg way out to deliver that hit.
Well, Dion is down and coming off a great game the other night with a goal and 2 assists. Marcel Dion's younger brother, and he's holding his right knee. Roenick is chasing him, and he went knee to knee. He did stick his leg out and upended Dion and went down holding his right knee. And this could be a major penalty. He stuck the knee out and wasn't as obvious as a lot of the knees that we've seen Marchment deliver, but it still was a knee. He did stick his leg out.
That's way too far out. Gilbert Dion's had a very trying season. He had a great rookie campaign last year when he showed up late in the year to the Canadiens, scored 21 goals in 39 games. He was rewarded with a 3-year contract for over $1 million. And it's been a tough time this season. 17 goals for Dion in 63 games. He actually was even sent to the minor leagues earlier this season because they were not happy with his work ethic. And now he is limping as he heads off to the Montreal dressing room. And Brian Marchment's going to get a major penalty. 5 minutes have been put up on the board by referee Paul Dvorsky. And 5 minutes for kneeing, I believe, is the call here against Brian Marchment.
5 minutes for kneeing at 7 minutes 29 seconds.
Well, Daryl Sutter's up on the bench screaming at Dvorsky, and both Brent Sutter and Dirk Graham are questioning the call. Obviously, they don't have the benefit of a replay, but he did stick his leg out to go at him.
That's one of those situations, I think, here, Dale, wrong place, wrong time. I mean, if Dion's not hurt, I believe it's a minor penalty. But the man limped off, and I think because of that, it was ruled to be a major.
The Hawk penalty killing has been superb with their last 10 games and been great all season long. They're first in the league. Penalty killing, 66 goals against, and they've been short 418 times, Pat.
Well, the Canadiens with a big opportunity here in the early going, a 5-minute power play. This, by the way, one of the major penalties that does not carry the automatic game misconduct with it, so Marchment will eventually return, but Hawks will be short for the full 5. Here's the draw on the far side. Brisbois holding it in. Cleared it into the corner down Foose center with nobody home in front for the Canadiens. It deflects to Route 2. Couldn't get it out. Brisbois waving it down Foose. Deep slot to Lehman. He had a bouncing puck. Couldn't handle it. And Chelios jammed it free to Graham. And he chipped it to center. Gary Lehman to Brisbois. Bouncing it in there. Wait, puts it around the board. Into the far corner. Chelios gets away from Bellows. And he's surrounded, and down Foose took it away. Down Foose, hounded by Chelios, who jammed it loose but not out. And Sutter got to it. And Chelios working hard all the way from the end line to his own blue line to finally clear that puck. But not for long. Canadiens dump it in. However, they're offside on the play. And the whistle sounds. Still early in the game. No score on the Hawk Network.
Well, a minute and 5 seconds have gone by, and what a great effort from Chris Chelios on that shift. Kill off a lot of that time. He gets a much-deserved rest.
Here's the draw now. Bouncing around to the Canadiens. John Leclerc shoots it in. Over to the far side it goes, and Leclerc lost the handle. And Sean Hill holds it in, put it back on the net. Jimmy Waite in traffic there, had the puck knocked loose. Hawks able to clear it to the line. Desjardins held it in for Savard along the boards. Keith Brown stepped into him. Back to the line, Desjardins. His long shot blocked by Mateau. The race is on. Mateau, here comes Waugh to the net. Good read by Patrick Waugh as Desjardins hampered Mateau's ability to skate ahead. And that allowed Waugh to come 40 feet out of the net to play it away. Here's Leclerc trying to center. The pass didn't get by Smith. Back of the net, Savard steals. Dennis Savard works to the near corner and leaves it there for Keane. He got locked up with the referee, Mr. Dvorsky, and now back of the net it goes. Steve Smith comes up with it and clears.
Some determined efforts out there, both by Chelios and Smith. Sometimes a penalty like this can really motivate a team, and the Hawks have been great killing it off so far.
2 minutes gone in the 5-minute Canadian power play. And we're halfway through a scoreless first period. Hill had his pass deflect. Larmer able to pick it off. He'll try to waste some time and then shoot it to the Canadian line. Evan Haller has it there. Haller into the Hawk zone. Brown took him off the puck with a good hit. Larmer rings it around but not out. Held in by Brisbois with a long shot. Deflected wide of the near post. Picked up by Larmer. Has some time to look and he clears.
2 minutes left on the 5-minute major for kneeing to Marchment. So far so good. Not one quality chance yet for Montreal.
Roenick with a huge hit. He flattened Brisbois. Then Goulet steals. Shooting it back the other way. It has been a very physical first period here tonight. Here's a Goulet steal from Brisbois, cutting and shooting. Wow, the stand-up save. Rebound back to Goulet, clearing it around the board. Minute and a half to to go on the Montreal power play. Brisebois bouncing it in.
Well, why was that not icing?
I don't know, but it's not. The play goes on. Here's a long shot and a save by Jimmy Wade as Desjardins teed it up. Wade gloves and hole.
That should have been an icing call. Brisebois shot it from his own bench into the Blackhawks zone. It missed the goal crease and should have been icing. With a minute 24 still left on the major. Terrific job by the Blackhawk penalty killer.
We've seen it a lot, Dale. These 5-minute power plays can really determine the outcome of a game quite often. Meanwhile, we said it's been a physical start.
A great hit on Brisebois from Roenick, and right after that, Smith hammered Haller right in front of the Canadian bench to send a message, and likewise, Brisebois' hit was in front of their own bench. It's been a physical start. Both teams have gone at it, but this is the Blackhawks style, and I don't know if the Canadiens can continue to play this style.
Obviously a long way to go in this game, but so often these 5-minute situations, they either you score on them, you often go on to win. If you don't, the other team almost always seems to get momentum, and the team that was short-handed often gets rejuvenated.
Michel Goulet with a steal on the young defenseman Brisebois and get the shot go. An easy save for Waugh.
Face off to the left of Waite. Savard kicked it back to the line. Hill cleared it up the boards, got a bad break. It hit the linesman too. Chelios. And Chris Chelios go clear. Desjardins trying to feed Savard, a little too far for him. Bouncing at center, and Leclerc through the line, but Savard had not cleared yet, and the whistle sounds, and now there's just a minute remaining on the Montreal power play.
Power play that ranks 14th in the league. They have 71 goals, but they've only had 368 power plays. Leclerc out of the University of Vermont. Rangy centerman in his first full season with the Canadiens. Has a French name, but is English speaking.
Off just outside the Chicago zone. No score in the game. 8.5 left in the first. A minute to go in a Montreal power play. Bouncing puck at the Hawk line, held in by Haller. Fakes the shot, then put it to Bellows. Back to Haller, a one-timer, didn't get past Marmer. And the Hawks cleared.
And Haller's shot did not get through. Haller scored a goal the other night against Quebec.
Brisebois sending it in. And to the near side it goes. 4 players tie up on the boards. Then Muller jammed it loose, but Keith Brown picks it up. Gave it to a wide open Larmer. He cleared. And what a job by the Hawk penalty killers. Here's Muller over the line, leaving for Damphousse center. Picked off by Smith, who clears. 5 minutes short-handed. Did Montreal have a good scoring chance?
I don't believe they did. They had one shot.
A terrific penalty-killing job from the team's from the league's #1 penalty-killing team. And now both squads are back at full strength as Roenick goes crashing into the Canadian zone, and Odeline's hurt. It's into the far corner, and now Odeline, who was the man leveled by Roenick, is slow to get up. He went crashing backward awkwardly, and type of situation where he might have hyperextended something in his leg. And the Canadian trainer comes out for the second time in the period.
Roenick, as the penalty expired, hog-tied him, got away with one. I think the fact they just killed a 5-minute penalty got away with that one, but Odeline injured something and is down and still hasn't gotten up.
Landed right on his tailbone, and hopefully for him it's just a bruised tailbone rather than something serious in one of the joints down below. 7 minutes left in a scoreless first on the Hawk Network. With Dale Talon, Pat Foley back in Montreal, and players on both sides better be keeping their head up tonight. It's been a very physical battle. Here's Troy Murray, a shot down, and a save by Waugh. Murray in a point-blank chance. Now Chelios a drive. Loved by Waugh, and he holds. That all coming off a face-off win by Brent Sutter.
And a push after the whistle by Brisebois. Better watch himself. But after the draw, the shot hit somebody in front and was hacked at by Lemieux in behind. Sutter and Lemieux combined. Sutter to Lemieux behind. He got it out front quickly to Troy Murray, and a one-timer. And Roy, lightning quick reflexes, moving to his left, was able to make the save. And then the turnover by Brisebois to Chelios. He let the high one go, but Roy saw it all the way and got the glove on it. A terrific save on Troy Murray from point-blank range by Roy. Looking for his first goal since rejoining the Blackhawks.
Face-off will be to the left of Patrick Roy. Gary Lehman for the draw. Here's the draw, and Sutter tried to shoot it right in, but it went just wide, and the Canadiens then can't clear. Russell a drive. He just missed the near post with that. It winds up back at center ice. Marchment looks for Jocelyn Lemieux, who was poked off his stick. Sean Hill chips it ahead. Todd Ewan bumped off the play by Lemieux, and then Russell shot it back into the Montreal end. Here's Hill putting it off the glass, not out. Mateau held it into Roenick. He has Murray in front, then Roenick a backhander, and a save by Roy. Rebound to the near corner. Out to the line, and Marchment, he's wide open, lets it go. It didn't get past Haller. Into the near corner, Mateau got away from his check, cuts in front, couldn't pull the trigger though. And now the Canadiens are scrambling. Here's Marchment, a long shot. That's blocked by Haller. And Kevin Haller managed to bounce it to center ice. Two good shot blocks by Haller here. Roy would have been tested even more often after a good Hawk shift. Neutral zone, Roberge pushing it into Chicago ice. Kuchera sends it back the other way. Eric Desjardins threw it ahead, right to Kuchera. His long shot up off the glass. And Eric Desjardins give it to Lyle Odeline, who's back out there. He feeds Carbonell. He just handled it at center ice. Hawks dump it back in there. Keane had no thoughts of playing the puck. He ran right into Goulet and knocked him down. And now Odeline for Montreal. Shot it back into Chicago territory. Here's Steve Smith. 15 minutes gone in the game. There have been no goals, but there have been a couple of dozen big hits already from both squads. Now Steve Smith sends a long pass behind Graham. And the Hawks now able to dump it in there. Brisebois banks it out to center. Here comes Savard. Gets over the Hawk line, lets it go, and a save by Waite. And he holds on. Neat pass, neat play from Brian Bellows along the boards to give Savard some room.
First shot on goal in a long time, only the 6th of the period for Montreal, and they have had a 5-minute power play. And before the power play, they had 4 shots on goal. Savard coming up the middle of the ice using Chelios as a screen. The waist-high shot, Waite, a foot outside the goal crease, had the angle covered, made the save. Confident-looking Jimmy Waite.
Denny Savard has a point in 32 of the 55 games that he's played this year for the Canadiens. He's missed 16 Montreal games.
Had a great start, Pat. He had 31 points in his first 26 games, then got sick, then got hurt. He's only had 19 points or 16 points in the last 30 games.
Now Brian Noonan beating Troy Murray, who shoots it in. Comes loose on the near side to Savard. He caught up to Murray, shooting, and a save by Waugh. Rebound, player due down Foose. And now to Bellows. And Bellows racing over the line with Haller. Centered it. Oh, what a play by Chelios. Kevin Haller looked to have half a step on him, and Chelios, I think, picked that pass out of midair and hoisted it into the crowd to prevent a scoring chance.
Well, Savard loses it. He was swatted by Larmer, his former line mate, to Troy Murray. Troy Murray's had 2 quality chances, and Patrick Waugh that time made the save with the shoulder. The Canadiens counter. Bellows looking for Haller, the late-coming defenseman. Yes, out of midair. Chelios returns the favor on Haller, who made a great shot block on a marksman shot out of midair with the blade of a stick, which is a dangerous shot block in front of your own net, but he got away with it not once but twice on that one shift. Sports Channel welcomes our affiliate, United Artists, in Peoria, Illinois.
Face off in the neutral zone here. And it's controlled by the Hawks' Chris Chelios. Sends it in. Griswold bumped in the corner, then it came to the deep slot. Chelios knocked down, threw it into the near corner. The Canadiens, Leclerc, able to push it back to center. Here's Muller. Oh, and he was poke checked by Smith nicely, or he would have been in. Now Leclerc carries on, shooting, deflected by Smith and or Lemieux up into the crowd. With 3.5 left in the first. It's been exciting, but no scoring on the Hawk Network.
Blackhawk fans, to win tonight's Budweiser Blackhawks Dream Sweepstakes prize, lunch with a Hawk player or coach. Stay tuned for details during the second period.
The draw to the Canadiens. Odeline trying to bounce onto the slot. Jimmy Waite put it back to the far side. Carbonell. A bump there from Russell and Stefan Matteau. And his pass hit a leg. It's taken by Keane, cutting in a shot off the side of the net. Rebound Keane, put it to the line. Odeline a drive. Oh, hit Waite in the helmet, I think. But he hangs right in there, and the Hawks trying to clear and finally do get it to center after having cleared possession earlier. Waite had to make a couple of good stops after they Hawks with 12. Here's Keane crashing into Russell back of the net. Puck bouncing into the slot, and Marchment has it there. Ryan Marchment. Able to clear it to the neutral zone. Eric Desjardins hounded by Murphy, then Ruutu knocked it loose. To the Montreal zone it goes. Ruutu knocked down in the far corner, then Montreal Desjardins bounces it to the neutral zone. As Chelios puts it back in there. 2.5 left in a scoreless first period. Eric Desjardins. Here's it ahead to Muller. He gets the line, feeding for Lehman on the near side. He's surrounded by red sweatered Hawks and then Graham. Managed to flip it on his backhand to center. And off the play, a whistle. Lehman and Graham and Leclerc all in close quarters, and Chelios is being examined. Somebody's stick came up and clipped him, and then the Hawks are going to get a power play. It's going to be a minor on Lehman.
Lehman recently acquired from Calgary for Brian Skrudlin. He's going to be sent off, and the Hawks are going to get a power play with only 2 minutes and 9 seconds left in the first period. Hawks scoring 3 power play goals in their last 2 games, but definitely was a penalty. Lehman just intentionally came off. That was an intentional high stick by Lehman, and he only gets 2 minutes.
17 minutes, 51 seconds.
So the Blackhawks with a chance to really take command here, even though it's scoreless. It might only take 1 goal. This is a lot like the Calgary game on Tuesday night. Hawks scored the lone goal on a power play. Roenick and a beautiful feed from Joe Murphy.
They're out there now along with Larmer, Smith, and Chelios. Here comes Chelios for Murphy on right wing over the line. Murphy stops on the near board. Worked it loose to the line. Chelios deep slot to Smith. Center one to Larmer, cutting in. Oh, how did Waugh stop that? Patrick Waugh seemed to trip over one of his own teammates, and he was, as he was falling to his left, reached up and gloved it with a miraculous save.
I don't know how he did. That was just one of the sheer luck. He was in position to make the save, and then Desjardins came in, and he lost his balance. Steve Smith with a diagonal pass to Larmer with time and room. Larmer waited, tried to go high, and Desjardins was right there as well. The leg and the glove met simultaneously, and as Raw was going down, the puck went right in his glove, and an acrobatic TV save by Patrick Waugh with 1:45 left in this first period. Waugh has made some great saves in the second half of this period. 2 on Troy Murray and that one on Steve Larmer.
Now the draw to Chelios at the near point. Flipping it up the boards. Muller aggressively. Then he kicked the feet from under Larmer, but it's out to the line and Smith. Put it to the far ring and Roenick who shoots. And a save by Waugh. Rebound Brisbois clearing. 1:20 left in the opening period. Just under that amount of time on a Hawk power play. Here's Smith circling at his own line. Now Chelios. Chelios had his pass deflected. Straight ahead. Here's Tom Foose, or Carbonneau rather. Carbonneau to the near side. Chelios, or Smith, I should say, got in his way with a good defensive effort.
2 good reads by Dan Foose, both times in neutral zone to pick off passes to the near side.
Hawks shoot it in. And the Canadiens shoot it out to center. Kuchera trying to dump it in, hit the rear end of Dvorsky. It results in an offside call against Chicago. And
Canadiens are lucky they didn't get penalized for too many men on the ice. They jumped over and no one saw it. They were able to hustle back. As the puck was dumped in, they anticipated going in deep, but when it hit the official, it stayed right in front of the bench.
34 seconds remaining in the opening period. Still no score in the game. Face off outside Montreal line. It's route to Roenick and Goulet out there with Brown and Kuchera. Sticks going back and forth between Goulet and Odeline. As they drop the puck, Odeline just cross-checked him. He's going to get a penalty, and so will Goulet.
That's a definitely good call right there. And how did Odeline even doubt the call? They both jabbed each other. One was a spear, the other was a cross-check, so they both should be sent off. It's the right call with 31 seconds to go. Either one of them could get set, a spear, and then a cross-check, and they both got their sticks up. The penalty is coming in 19:29. They'll be offsetting. There's still 23 seconds left on the Blackhawk power play.
Ébullition à Chicago, numéro 16, Michel Goulet. Au Canadien, numéro 24,
Goulet has had an illustrious career against this Canadian team in 80 games with 54 goals and 47 assists. Sent off to the box with Odeline.
Michel Goulet. To the Canadiens, number 24, Lyle Odeline. 2 minutes each for high sticking at 19 minutes, 28 seconds.
Now we'll try again outside the Montreal zone. The Canadian line leaving for Murphy. Now to the deep slot, Smith. And they go around the boards with it. Roenick far corner. Centered one, just missing Murphy. Then it came to Chelios, whose shot is blocked. And Mike Keane trying to clear it, having trouble. Now gets a second chance and does. Shoot it back to the Hawk line. Chelios flips it back the other way. And that's going to do it for the opening period. No scoring, but lots of action in the opening period here in Montreal.
The shots on goal. Blackhawks with 10 in the opening period, the Montreal Canadiens with 8. Through one period of play, it is 0-0 between the Hawks and the Canadiens. Scores and highlights from around the league when we come back. Dale.
Thanks, Jimmy. You are exactly right. People better keep their heads up in this one, because if you don't, you're going to get corked. And it has been a very physical first period tonight. The Blackhawks play this way every night, and other teams seem to use Chicago as a measuring stick, whether they can keep up with the hitting, and JR starts it off.
Great hit there on Brisbois, and then Smith with a good hit on Haller in front of the benches, and that really sends a message. Marchman had a knee. He put out Dion, got a 5-minute major, so that was major part of the period. Great penalty killing, and then after that, Patrick Waugh did the job for Montreal as he made some key saves. That one on Troy Murray, and then the counter play by the Canadiens. Bellows up ice on the off wing, and Chris Chelios hustled back to swat it out of midair. Chris Chelios really had an outstanding period, really played physically, and Jimmy Wade as well was sharp early, and then a couple tough saves late as Keane was stopped and then got his own rebound out the Hoden line. It was shot redirected by Carbonneau in front and then hit Wade in the helmet, but Wade an outstanding start for him. But Patrick Waugh was brilliant on a hot power play, a passing combination to Larmer, and Waugh with the glove save as he collided with Desjardins. A prolific save, or terrific save by Patrick Waugh, and that's pretty well the story. Good goaltending early by Jimmy Wade because the Hawks looked a bit sluggish. Great penalty killing while they were 5 minutes short, and then they came on the Blackhawks with their physical play and got some quality chances, but Waugh was brilliant.
All right, we're through 20 minutes in the Forum in Montreal, one of the hockey palaces in the NHL. No scoring, but lots of action. We're back with the second period after this timeout.
Blackhawk game on Sports Channel Friday when the Blackhawks take on the New York Rangers live from Madison Square Garden. Game time on Sports Channel is 6:30 and 6 o'clock on the Blackhawks Radio Network. And a reminder, Blackhawks return home tomorrow night to face the Tampa Bay Lightning. Game time on the Blackhawk Radio Network is 7 o'clock. Catch NBA action on Sports Channel. Tune in Tuesday as the Bulls host the Minnesota Timberwolves. Coverage begins at 7 with tip-off at 7:30. And a reminder, catch Jonathan Brandmeier on your way home from work weekdays 3 till 7. Dion back on the bench after it looked like an injury that might be permanent for the rest of the year as he was hit by Brian Marchman, which resulted in a 5-minute kneeing penalty. And that in itself might turn the whole game around as far as the Blackhawks are concerned. The Canadiens did not get a chance on that 5-minute power play, and the Hawks have come on since that.
No score as we start the middle period, and here's the draw out into the Chicago zone. Put it to the near side. Jeremy Roenick brings it on the boards to Mateau, who cleared it to Murphy. Joe Murphy in on Haller. Stops on the far side. The help is Roenick. He couldn't find the handle cleanly, and then his pass deflects back to center ice. Bouncing around there. Corralled by Mateau, leaving for Roenick. Return pass didn't click. And now the Hawks able to dump it in there. Canadiens misfire on a pass, and Steve Smith controls. Chelios in his own end. Back to Smith. Carries it to the Canadian line. Smith takes a look. Center one. Larmer tipped it just wide of the far post. Larmer then centered, and Lemieux couldn't find the handle on that. And the Canadiens able to work it free to center ice. Larmer with a neat steal there away from Lehman. Steve Larmer feeds Brent Sutter. Gets it into the Montreal zone. Sutter bumped on the near side, then gets it back. Sutter into the slot, mishandled it. And the Hawks regroup at center. Eric Desjardins looks for Gary Lehman. His dump in hit a teammate, then Lehman carries it to the Hawk line. Center one, here's DiPietro dropping in front. Muller is off the goalpost. Kirk Muller fired it off the near pipe, and the Hawks look to counter. Ruutu races up the right side, gets the line, looks for Graham in the slot around it, check shooting, and a save by Waugh. What a stop through a Murray screen. And the Hawks get a bit of a break at one end, then Muller goes and gives Ruutu a face full of glove after the whistle had sounded. But Patrick Waugh continuing to shine at his end of the ice. I'm not sure how he could have seen that with Murray providing a perfect screen.
Well, the Canadiens have their best chance of the game, hitting a goal post and a nice feed from Lehman. The Hawks were able to counter. Lehman had trouble getting it in, finally carried it in. Nice soft pass across to Leclerc. He lost it. But a quick shot by Muller hit the post, came right back out to Troy Murray, and the Blackhawks were on their way as the Canadiens got caught in deep. It's a 3-on-2 situation. Ruutu, the late coming Graham. Graham faked the shot, drifted over to the right side, let it go, and Troy Murray was standing right there, and Waugh somehow got a piece of it. Meanwhile, after the whistle, Muller went after Ruutu. Well, are they going to look at the replay now to see if it was a goal or not?
It may be what's happening is referee Dvorsky comes over to the penalty box area and he wants the telephone, so he will be going to the video replay to see about Kirk Muller's shot in the Hawk end of the ice.
Well, he signaled no goal. He didn't say it was a goal, and obviously they're not even going to look at it. Dvorsky's saying there's no goal and continue on playing. With 18 minutes still to go here in the second period.
A very quick discussion on the telephone from Paul Dvorsky, and this game remains scoreless with a face-off coming up to the right of Patrick Waugh.
Chelios had just over 11 minutes of ice time in the first period. Had 38 minutes in the game in Calgary on Tuesday.
Now the draw taken by Smith at the line. His long shot didn't get through. That hit Troy Murray and stung him, I believe, but the Canadiens then cleared to center. Bellows, a two-line pass which he received, brings on a whistle, and Troy Murray tries to shake off the bee stings.
Troy Murray won the draw cleanly on his forehand back to Smith, and Smith let it go. Savard and Troy Murray were at the dot, and the shot hit Troy Murray in traffic as he was facing Steve Smith.
Murray, Graham, and Goulet for Chicago. Savard, Bellows, and Danfous for Montreal. Here's the draw. Cleared in behind the Canadian goal. Now Graham on the far side. Center one just behind Murray, though. Savard then weakly got the break as it bounced free to Danfous. Carries it over the Hawk line, gets Chelios turned around, and Chelios finally got a piece of the body. Danfous nearly victimized him, but Chris Chelios won't get beat one-on-one very often, and he did not again here. Now at the line, here's a long shot deflecting up off the glass behind the Hawk net. Troy Murray tied up in the near side. Bellows tried to center. Chelios steals to Graham. Dirk Graham with room on right wing. Carries it to the Montreal line. Dufresne got a piece of him, then it's chopped loose. Now Foose whacked it to the Hawk line. DiPietro to Bellows there. Throw it to the far side. Down Foose. Shoots it around the board. Jeremy Roenick. Here's it into the Montreal end. Sean Hill controls it there. Carrying it to center ice and Carbonneau. Long feed. Keane was behind everybody and pass just sailed over his stick. Now Carbonneau. And a pass deflect back into the near corner. Taken there by Keane with a wrist shot. Wait to save. Rebound taken by Kuchera. He feeds Mateau up the left side. He took a hit to feed Roenick. Roenick to the Canadian line. Offside was Murphy.
A good pace to the early going. Montreal trying to set the pace early here, as they did early in the first. Hawks came on and finished strongly. Canadian figure skaters Jose Chouinard, the Canadian figure skating champ, who came back from the World Championships. Someday maybe that'll be Lauren Talon.
There's a pretty good chance she's off to an early start. I'm just disappointed Manuel Rion became the first goaltender. I was sure that was going to be Kristen Talon. Here's Kuchera with room to the near circle, shooting, and it deflects just wide off the stick of Ewan, and into the corner it goes. Desjardins chopped it loose, and the Canadiens come away. Dion is back on the ice. There it is to DiPietro over the line. He shot it around the boards, over the line near corner. Took a hit from Sutter, and Kuchera out of there with it. We'll put it into the Montreal zone. Patrick Waugh clears it himself to center. Marchman's pass stolen by Dion. Gets to the line. He left it for DiPietro. Good coverage, though, by Mateau, preventing DiPietro from advancing, but the Canadiens do keep it in the Hog zone. Dion and Larmer wrestle along the board. Comes loose to Mateau. He cleared it to center and Roenick. He looks for Marchman over the line. And they clear it around the boards. Ewan whacked it loose to Carbonneau. This pass well in front of Dion. Sliding into the Hawk zone. Carbonneau tried to center. Wade vacated to play it around the boards, and Carbonneau directed it toward the net. Wade scurried back to stop it. 5 minutes gone in the second. No score on the Hawk Network. Pat Foley and Dale Talon in Montreal. No score between two of the NHL's elite. The Hawks and the Canadiens. Montreal tied for first overall starting play tonight in the league. The Hawks tied for third overall in the NHL. Here's Goulet almost jamming it loose behind the Canadian net. Montreal, I think, is going to get a penalty. Patrick Roy got tied up for a moment behind his own goal, and
I think Dufresne's going to be sent off for knocking down Dirk Graham. They had a battle along the far boards, and Roy again got tied up in behind the net. The puck squirted loose, but the Canadiens did a nice job of covering it up. Goulet chases Brisebois, and Roy collide. It comes to Goulet, just couldn't find the handle because Roy swatted at it. But Dirk Graham sent crashing to the ice from behind by Dufresne, and the Blackhawks will get their second power play at 5:16 of the second period.
You said it earlier, Karnak, but I'll tell you what, this game does indeed start to take on many of the same flavors that we had the other night in Calgary. Our special teams could wind up being the difference, because we've had a terrific goaltending show at either end of the ice. Here's the draw in the Montreal zone. Joe Murphy tied up, puck comes free to the near side. Smith did well to keep it into Roenick in the corner. Jeremy Roenick centered one, deflected in. I'm not sure whether Murphy got it or not. It was at the feet of Desjardins, and Joe Murphy, I think, will get credit for the goal. The Hawks on the power play have grabbed a 1-0 lead.
A good pinch by Steve Smith. He just beat Danfus to the puck. Danfus was unwilling to take a hit. Smith kept it in. Then Steve Larmer set a bit of a pick, enabling Roenick to circle out front and make the pass. Great play by Larmer to set the pick on Brisebois, and the pass across hit Joe Murphy, and an empty netter. Patrick Roy had no chance. But some great work first by Smith, then the pick by Larmer on Brisebois, and a great feed across to Joe Murphy, who did get the stick on it, beating Desjardins to the puck.
So Joe Murphy will get his third goal in 8 games as a Hawk. And the Blackhawk power play coming through in a big way the other night in Calgary, and now scores a key goal tonight to open the scoring here in the second period. 4 power play goals in the last 3 games for Chicago. Well, this is a great time of year for that to start happening. Here's Sutter, a shot. Waugh makes the save and juggled it. And covered before Murray could stuff in the rebound.
Good solid shift right after. Brent Sutter, quick snapshot, almost startled Waugh. He juggled with Troy Murray there again. Troy Murray's really gone to the front of the net. He's had a great game. He's had 2 or 3 quality chances and set up a couple others. Well, Smith and Roenick get the assists on the Blackhawk power play goal. Their 75th power play goal of the year in 439 chances. 4 power plays in their last 3 games. 2 in Edmonton, the lone goal in Calgary, and 1 here tonight with 13:59 to go here in the second. That was a big goal.
Now the draw taken by the Canadiens. Here's Danfus. The Hawk line for Bellows. Stops on the far side. Centered it. Didn't get through to the slot. Now deflecting to Danfus. Centered. Savard to the puck behind him. Couldn't find the handle, and now goes down, and a penalty will be called against Chicago. Some neat passing by the Canadiens in the goal mouth area. But the last pass was just behind Savard, and he couldn't find the handle.
Well, Montreal will get their second power play, though the first one was for 5 minutes. Looked like the Hawks had good coverage. Both defensemen took their men, but the pass came out front, and then it squirted just behind Savard. Danfus to Savard on the backhand, but it just squirted away from him. Then Sutter was yanked down, or Savard was knocked down by Brent Sutter. So Sutter sent off, and now this is a big penalty-killing situation.
2 minutes for Griffin at 6 minutes 17 seconds.
Hawks were superb in the first period. 5 minutes they were short and didn't allow a quality chance.
And the face-off will be to the left of Jimmy Waite. Now Foose, Muller, and Bellows out there with Lehman and Brisbois, the point men. Here's Brisbois. Here's circle it down Foose. Center tip. What a save by Waite on a Muller deflection. In behind the net it goes. And a center pass. They score. Brian Bellows from the doorstep was set up by Down Foose. Montreal gets the power play goal back. It's 1-1.
Well, Dan Foose with a quick pass, but how many times have we seen Brian Bellows do that exact thing while he was with the North Stars? Right on the doorstep, the quick pass, bang, Jimmy Waite had no chance. Jimmy Waite made a great save on the initial tip-in. Muller tied up Smith. Chelios had to go all the way around, left the front of the net for Dirk Graham, and Bellows had position. Two former North Stars, but Bellows tucked it in on a neat feed from Dan Foose. Chelios went way too far to get to and got caught out of position, enabling Bellows to sneak in and tuck it in as he was tied up partially by Graham, but not well enough.
Brian Bellows from Down Foose and Muller at 6:27. Brian Bellows now in his career against the Hawks has played. This is the 77th game he's played. 42 goals now and 89 points against Chicago. Here it's into the Hawk zone. A centering pass from Dion was at the feet of Keane, and he put it in front. Odeline shoots, he scored! Lyle Odeline from right between the rings. 2 quick goals for the Canadiens. In fact, 2 goals in under half a minute. It's 2-1 Montreal.
Well, poor coverage again. The Hawks overplaying it. Got 4 guys in the corner. And Odeline, the defenseman, was all alone. The winger was not there. And Roenick was the lone guy in front. Roenick partially screening Waite, and the low shot to the stick side, and it's 2-1 Canadiens. Hawks are overplaying it. No one paying attention to the point man, and Odeline snuck in. And the Hawks had enough guys back, but nobody in the right spot. Roenick tried to pick the pass off. Murphy was at the top of the circle to the near side, and the toe was in the corner. No one was watching the point man.
That's only the 2nd goal of the year for Lyle Odeline, who leads this team in plus minus. He was a plus 36 coming in. He also led them in penalty minutes. And he puts Montreal in front, Carbonneau and Keane. And will get the assist. 6:53, 2 goals in 26 seconds for the Canadiens. Here's a chance for Murray, a bouncing puck though, and he couldn't find it. Out comes Muller. He was poke checked by Noonan at center. It's corralled by Steve Smith. He lost the handle. Lehman gets the Hawk line, looking for Muller into the deep slot. He put it to Haller with a wrist shot, and a save by Waite. Good save with a Canadian in front trying to either deflect it or screen Jimmy Waite, but the Hawk netminder hangs on.
Hawks are back on their heels now. The same type of situation developed when the Hawks scored the first goal. They got pressure right off the bat on the next shift. Got a quality chance. The same thing for Montreal. They score a power play goal and they just turn it right back on, get another goal, and they very nearly get a third here as the puck almost squirted by Jimmy Waite. He juggled, tried to pull it under him to freeze it, and almost pulled it into his own net.
Face-off will be to the right of Waite. Here's the draw. Joe Goulet. Get around the boards. Dirk Graham kicked it loose to Goulet, who flipped it to center. Taken now by Smith. Steve Smith bouncing it in. Put it around the boards, got his feet tangled with a Hawk and went down, but the play goes on here. Savard at 2-on-1. Savard with Bellows, cutting in, fires, blocked by Smith. Rebound in behind. Bellows from the seat of his pants centered it, and Ruutu had it and managed to trickle it out to center ice. And the Canadian dump-in winds up in the crowd with 8 minutes gone here in the middle period. Montreal 2, Chicago 1 on the Hawk Network.
Blackhawks a bit sloppy here in the last few minutes, running all over and having some difficulty in their own zone.
Now the draw. Shot up into the crowd. Other scores around the NHL today. One of interest, Detroit won their game, so they have moved up near the Blackhawks, just a point behind entering play tonight, but the Red Wings have only 9 games left.
Toronto's playing tonight against Edmonton. It's 1-1, that game in the second period. Blackhawks have 88 points in 71 games. Only one ahead of Detroit, but 4 games in hand, if you don't count this one.
Now the draw. Taken by Chelios in his own end. There's it ahead to Lemieux, whose pass deflects up into the crowd.
Well, Haller with a good read got to the passing lane. Larmer was in. He doesn't get the stick on the pass. Haller showing good hand-eye coordination tonight. He's picked a lot of passes and shots out of midair with the blade. Meanwhile, there's a conversation going on now. Smith trying to get at Todd Ewan. I'm sure the Canadiens would like Ewan to take Smith off the ice.
Everybody separating now. We'll have a face-off coming up in the neutral zone. And now Smith has something to say to a Canadian near the Montreal bench. And an alert job by linesman Mark Vines to get over there and keep everybody apart. There was no scoring in the first period, but we had 3 goals scored in the span of under a minute and a half. Here in the second, the Hawks struck first with a power play goal. Montreal got that one right back with a power play goal of their own. Then they struck again on the next shift. 2 goals in 26 seconds for the Canadiens. They lead 2-1. Here's the draw. Taken by Jeremy Roenick. Flipped it to Murphy. Splits up the slot. Got it to Matteau. The shot. And a save by Waugh. Rebound in behind Roenick. Trying to jam it loose. He does. And behind the net is Murphy. Joe Murphy. Tied up by Guy Carbonneau. And now the puck squirts free to Odeline. Kyle Odeline bouncing one to center. Then Keane and Russell have quite a duel, and they both hit the deck. The play goes on as Odeline has it in his own end. His pass stolen by Troy Murray. Shooting it in. Keane, bounded by Lemieux to the near corner. Kicked it loose behind the net. Now squirting out in front, but the Canadiens are there. And Keane got knocked down by Russell and couldn't clear it. And behind the goal it goes. Now Desjardins sends it to Keane up the right side. He flips it to the Hawk line, and Roberge is well covered there by Steve Smith. We're halfway through the middle period, 2-1 in favor of the Canadiens. Here comes Lemieux. He shoots it in as the Hawks need a change. Harry Lehman couldn't find the handle, and now Chelios does at center. He looks for Goulet. Brisbois knocked him down. And he squirts free over the Hawk line. Here's Leclerc with a reshot. Wait, lunging to his left. Got a piece of that with a glove. And Rutu starts back. Wants to handle it center. Leclerc back over the line. He wanted to go to the forehand, and that cost him a chance to get a shot on goal. Leclerc on his off wing to the Hawk end. Tried to center. It deflects to Brisbois. He scores! Patrice Brisbois catching the play. Scooped the backhander in from the doorstep. 3-1 Canadiens.
Hawks seem to be a step behind here in this middle part of the second period. Again, poor coverage as Brisbois, defenseman, caught up with the play and snuck past his check and tucked it in along the ice. Jimmy Waite beaten on the backhand along the ice. First Leclerc did a good job to get it across. Two guys go to one. Brisebois gets away from Goulet, and the backhander beats Jimmy Waite. And it's 3-1, and I think that might be it for Waite. Belfour's up and ready, but 3 goals in a row here by Montreal. Some poor coverage by the Blackhawks as Brisebois, the 22-year-old, gets his 9th goal of the year. We'll give Leclerc a lot of credit at the line as he made a one-handed pass across, but again, the Blackhawks overplaying and poor coverage, resulting in 2 goals in a row. One was a power play goal, but the last 2 were at even strength.
Assisted by number 17, John.
It's a 3-1 Canadian lead. And here's an icing call coming up against Chicago. Leclerc and Muller are given the assists on Brisebois' goal at 10:43. After the play had been stopped here, Savard and Ruutu had a little dueling going. Savard's helmet's been knocked off, but now he's going to get a penalty. Looks like the Hawks may have a power play chance here, and they badly need to get this special team going. The Hawks power play did come through early in the period, but now a Montreal onslaught has made this a key situation for Chicago.
It's time to announce the 3 contestants in tonight's Budweiser Blackhawks Dream Sweepstakes, brought to you by WLUP and Sports Channel. Carl Greider of Bartlett, Robert McKinley of Crystal Lake, and James Vignal of Bridgeview, VYGNAL. If you've read your name, you have 30 minutes to call 591-WLUP to claim tonight's prize. The first caller wins lunch with a Blackhawk player, coach, or management person. So the Blackhawks need to get back into this one, trailing 3-1. This is their 3rd power play of the night. Savard sent off.
Now here's Murphy just getting hammered by Brisebois. After Brisebois cleared the puck down the ice, the Hawks are going to have a 2-man advantage. Here's Roenick over the line, lost the handle. The whistle sounds. Patrice Brisebois cleared the puck down the ice. Murphy just took a little piece of him, didn't even really hammer him. Brisebois just turned around and corked him. And a 2-man advantage here for Chicago. Montreal have taken 2 straight poor penalties, or selfish penalties here.
Savard retaliated on Ruutu, and now Brisebois sent off for flattening Murphy. And he's going to get 4 minutes, Brisebois. He clears it. Joe Murphy gives him a bit of a whack, and he just cross-checked him, and he's going to get 4 minutes, Brisebois. So he gets 2 for cross-checking and 2 for roughing Brisebois. That's a stupid penalty on his part, an inexperienced move. Brisebois just scored his 9th. Outstanding looking rookie. It's a bad play on his part, and now the Blackhawks, this is their game. They're down 3-1. They need to at least get 1 here in this situation. They'll have a 2-man advantage. For 1 minute and 41 seconds.
3-1 Canadiens, and a huge opportunity for Chicago to change that right here. Face off inside the Montreal line, and it's controlled by Smith. Here's circle to Chelios at the top of the ring. He tried to feed Roenick, was at his feet. Roenick now has it in the corner, walks to the slot, trying to muscle it in there, and Roy poke checked it away, and it laid there, and Patrick Roy covered it up.
Hawks had a 2-man advantage for a couple of minutes in the game in Calgary. That both defensemen moved right in, making it easy on the 3 penalty killers. This time they need to stay away and make them commit one way or the other, either come high or stay back. Pass to Roenick was too hot to handle. If he was able to accept it right away, he would have had a lot of time and room.
Off to the right of Roy. And the draw, Roenick wins it to Smith. Here's corner to Roenick. Cuts in front again. Here's the shot. He scores! Jeremy Roenick, undaunted, just worked his way out of the corner, was willing to pay the price, but nobody even came to him. And he stuffed it in from the doorstep. The Hawks now trail 3-2.
Power play goal again, and they stay on the power play. Still 3:37 left on Brisebois' double minor, and Roenick notches his 40th goal. The Hawks are right back in it. It's a 3-2 game. Bank pass off the boards to Roenick. Larmer's in front. Nobody goes to Roenick, and he beats Raw cleanly from the top of the crease. He buried it right through him as no one went to him.
So Roenick reaches the 40-goal mark. And the Hawks still have a one-man advantage for 3.5 minutes. Here's a steal. Chelios coughed it up to Carbonneau, and he rattled it off the crossbar. And then Chelios knocked him down, and here's the make-even call, and he'll be sent off.
Good dive by Carbonneau. Smart play, but a poor start for Chelios. A turnover, a good save, and then a dive by Carbonneau. A good read by the experienced forward, and Chelios in disbelief goes to the box, and you would have expected something like this to happen in this building. Nice dive by Carbonneau. Well, Chelios will be sent off. That'll take off another 2 minutes of the 3:22 still left on Brisebois.
That happened right after Carbonneau nearly victimized Chelios for a short-handed goal. He stole it as Chelios was coming out, fired it past Waite, only to have it hit the crossbar and come out.
Just mishandled it. Carbonneau snapped it high off the crossbar, beating Waite to the shoulder side, the blocker side.
So 4 skaters aside here, and Odeline and Brown get some sticks going as they line up for the draw, but the puck is dropped. And Odeline has it at center. Here it ahead. Desjardins over the line with Muller. Desjardins cutting in for Muller. He scores. A tap in. What a play by Eric Desjardins, and Kirk Muller didn't have a red sweater within 10 feet. 4-2 Canadiens.
The Hawks at even strength have been awful in this second period. Their coverage has been absolutely poor. Overplaying and not doing their jobs or even covering their own men. They're trying to do too much, and they get caught again. Another odd man break. One defenseman back. It was Kuchera. He waited. Jimmy Waite committed, and overcommitted, and the pass across. Again, a defenseman beaten. Muller was in all alone, and it tapped it in, and it's 4-2. Another even strength goal for Montreal. And the Hawks' coverage has been really subpar considering the first half of this game, the middle part of this period. The Canadiens have had some quality shots and chances.
Kirk Muller gets his 34th goal of the year. His career high is 37. So he's got a chance to break that for the Canadiens this season. Desjardins and Danfus get the assist at 12-10. 4-2 Canadiens. Here comes Savard trying to add to it. Savard went down as he tried to make a quick turn. Now on the near side, Bellows is hounded back to center by Brown. Brown working hard into the Canadiens, though. Tried to center one. It just barely didn't get to Lerner. And the Canadiens holler. Here to center. Here's Bellows over the Hawk line. Bellows, and his pass deflects. Savard got to it. Tried to center. Roenick in front to steal that. Jeremy Roenick. Oh, Savard went at him. He stuck his leg out. He's going to get a penalty. Dennis Savard stuck his leg out and sent Roenick flying. JR seems to be all right, but you don't expect that from Savard that often.
Savard stuck his hip out that time, Pat. He snuck by Lehman, Roenick did, and Savard going to the bench stuck out the hip and upended him, and that'll be a penalty.
Montreal 4, Chicago 2 on the Hawk Network. A 4-on-3 for the Hawks, and now here's Murphy trying to feed Route 2, and it didn't click. The puck bouncing around at center ice. Comes free to Route 2 over the line. He dropped it through the legs to Roenick. Roenick then went down. Carbonneau steals and clears. The Hawks are going to have a 2-man advantage in another 15 seconds. Here's Noonan. line, and offside is the call.
Dennis Savard in the box, the second trip in this period. Jeremy Roenick. Savard caught him by surprise. I don't think Roenick thought Savard was going to attempt to hit him, but he got the hip out, and Savard is sent off. That was a legitimate hip check.
Yep, when I first saw it, I thought he had stuck the leg out. That's not the way it was. It was a hip check that sent Roenick flying. And
Part of the leg.
said at the time, don't expect it from Savard. That's because he doesn't do it. Here's Muller, a shot. He undressed Smith, running it through his legs, and Jimmy Waite made a good save on Muller. Here comes Roenick. Back into the Montreal zone, leaving for Murphy. Back to Roenick, cutting in. Lost the handle on the backhand. And the Hawks have a two-man advantage here for a minute. Here's Smith in the near corner. 4-2 Canadiens. Hawks have a great chance to cut into that. Here's Chelios, a shot, and a save by Waugh. Rebound to Muller, clearing. Chelios back into the Montreal zone. Leaves it for Roenick, top of the ring. He put it to Smith, the drive, and a save by Waugh. Now Larmer's hurt. Steve Larmer was trying to set up shop in front of the goal, and he is writhing in agony on the forearm ice.
Well, Sutter is furious. Trying to get Dvorsky to pull over this. Discuss. I don't think anybody saw it. I don't think any officials saw what happened to Larmer. The pass came to Smith. Larmer was in front. He got cross-checked, I believe, in the small of the back, and Larmer's in a lot of pain. And Steve Larmer, or I should say Daryl Sutter, is furious, and rightfully so, as Larmer get cross-checked right in the small of the back.
It happened the last sequence, too, when the Canadiens had previously cleared it. I think Odeline leveled him, and that's just what happened right here. Lyle Odeline did the same thing, cross-checked him right across the back. Larmer has had back troubles earlier this year. Of course, it never has kept him out of the lineup. Now he's back under his own power off to the Hawk bench.
Looks like he may have got a little bit higher up in the kidney area. That's even more painful. And it takes a lot to get Larmer down. He was really in a lot of pain. Pass from Roenick to Smith, and the cross-check right in the small of the back by Odeline, and no one saw it, and there's going to be no call.
Half a minute to go on a two-man advantage for Chicago. Chelios will shoot it in there. Odeline clears.
You've got a two-man advantage. You've got to peel back and set up. You can't just dump it in and give up possession.
Boy, here's Smith dumping it in. Now Murphy leaves it, and Carbonneau steals and clears. Wow.
So can't carry it in, Pat, with a two-man advantage. You're never going to carry it in. Absolutely.
And the two key components of the Hawk power play, Chelios and Smith, just for some reason dumping it in. Now the first Canadian penalty is over, and now so is the second. Both teams are back at full strength. Here's Kuchera trying to center. It's picked off. And the Canadiens, Brisebois carries it to the line. He was stopped there, and Savard carried on offside. Now Chelios just slugged Brisebois. And there are going to be more penalties coming up here as they gather on the near side. Almost, Dale, I think a matter of time before more of this stuff starts. It's been a chippy game throughout. There's been a lot of extracurricular activities in addition to some good clean hitting within the rules. There have been players going beyond the rules more often as this game has gone on. Odeline just sent Ruutu sprawling with a cross check. And Odeline goes off to the Canadian bench. Meanwhile, everybody else is beginning to settle down a bit.
Dvorsky better get his act together because he's going to lose control of this game. There's been a lot of nonsense going on, and he's let go. Chelios and Brisebois will both be sent off, and they're going to give an additional minor to Chelios. Well, no, they don't. Now they both get offsetting minor penalties. More frustration than anything, but Brisebois got the glove up, and Chelios didn't like it and took a swing at him, and the rest of the players come in, and then Odeline with a whack on Ruutu, and then he just took off to the other side to the bench.
Going to be offsetting penalties to Chelios and Brisebois. We'll have a face-off outside the Montreal line. 4-2 in favor of the Canadiens, and all the scoring has come here in the second period.
Meanwhile, Edmonton and Toronto are knotted at 2 apiece in the second.
Kuchera bring it around the boards. Carbonneau got it into the corner, then centered. Too far for Keane. And Kuchera bumped by Carbonneau on the far side. They wrestle in the corner. It squirts loose. Mike Keane got it to the line. Desjardins around to check. Cutting and shoots. Wait, the save. And the rebound corralled by Kuchera. Clearing to center ice. Keane feeds Odeline to the line. He weaves to the near side with it. Goes up the boards to Keane. Clearing it around to the far side. And Joe Murphy shot it to the Canadian line. Now Kuchera. Cleared it to Goulet over the line with a wrist shot, sailing wide to the near post. Rebounding to center. Muller couldn't find it there. Ruutu does. For Goulet over the line. Goulet with a shot deflecting right onto the save by Waugh. That hit the defenseman on the way. Patrick Waugh still stopped it. Then Ruutu centered. Coming to the near side. Smith fires. Shot it off the side. The net is off the moorings. Nobody sees it. What if that puck had gone in the net? It was off before Smith shot it, and none of the officials saw it, but it grazed the outside of the cage anyway. 4-2 Canadiens on the Hawk Network.
Patrick Waugh, that time Patrick did the safe thing, got away with it, tried to knock the net off its moorings when he saw that they were in trouble. He intentionally knocked it off with Steve Smith getting the puck and got away with it. And Dvorsky never saw the puck off till Waugh finally gave it another nudge, but he got away with one there.
There's a cool move by a veteran. He sees the puck coming to a wide open defenseman at the faceoff dot, and as he goes across, intentionally knocked the net off the moorings. And indeed did get away with it. Here come the Canadiens now. Savard. Cleared it to Haller over the line. Evan Haller tries to center. Savard wheeling in the slot. And a Savard in traffic, left it for Hill. And Smith got there first. Marchment. As the coincidental penalties expire and both teams back at full strength. Vincent Danfus. To Hill, whose pass doesn't click. Marchment deep in his own end. Didn't have anywhere to go with it, just fires it down the length of the ice. Goulet hustling, trying to save icing, and he did. On Hill. Desjardins goes up the middle to Bellows. He got away from Kuchera. The race is on. Bellows to the line, 3-on-2. Leaves it for Muller. He centered one. Open net. Tap just wide. Oh, a great open net for Leclerc, and he missed the net. Now the Hawks Brown able to get it to Graham, who failed to clear. Bellows back of the goal. Centered one. Leclerc shot it off the side of the net. And the second period has been a disaster for the Blackhawks in their own end. A minute and a half remaining. Back in behind the Hawk net it goes. Heath Brown bumped Bellows off the play and cleared it up the far side. Taken by Odeline. Lyle Odeline into the Hawk zone. Tried to center, too far for Keane. Now Leclerc along the boards. Behind the net. Jimmy Waite got it to the near side, and it deflects out to center ice. Oh, here's Keane. Able to advance it, and clear it back the other way. Icing will be called here against Chicago with 37 seconds left.
Boy, from the red line in, the Hawk coverage, they've not been getting the puck in deep. They've been getting beat, and they've overplayed and given up far too many odd man rushes. And the Canadian defense, we talked about Demers trying to get their defense more involved in the offense, whereas before they were told not even to cross into the offensive zone. And Demers has had his young defenseman move up, and Odeline scored, Brisebois scored, and Desjardins set up Muller in their last 3 goals. They got a lot of help from Blackhawk miscues as far as coverage is concerned in all 3 situations.
By the way, an update from the game in Toronto. I was looking at the wrong side. I thought it was 5-2. I was looking at the wrong side of the scoreboard. 2-2 still between Edmonton and Toronto in the 3rd period there. Now the face-off in the Hawk zone winds up in behind the net. And it comes loose to Murphy. Feeding Ruutu. Christian Ruutu to the line, looks for Murphy. Dion caught up with him and knocked it away. And Gary Lehman works his way back to the Hawk line. Lost the handle there. Shot back the other way, and icing will be called. No, the period ends first. And a very eventful second period. All the goals coming for 2 Canadians.
Shots on goal in the second. Montreal got 4 goals on 13 shots. The Blackhawks come up with a pair on 9 shots on goal. Taking a look at the assist.
Thanks very much, Jim. And you're right, a lot of offense in that second period, but there have been very few times you can probably count the number of games on one hand that the Blackhawks have looked like they've had a fire drill going in their own zone. But that's pretty much the way the second period went, although it looked like it was going to be a very nip-and-tuck game when the Blackhawks had a power play opportunity and cashed in.
The power play works really well. Smith outworks Stamfus, but a great pick set by Larmer enabled Roenick to get it out front to Murphy, and Murphy tucked it in and was 1-0, 5:35 into the second period. But some poor coverage by the Blackhawks in their own zone. Everyone's in good position here, but no one's worried about the defense, but no one's covering. Roenick's in front of the net, but he never looks behind him. He misses the puck, it goes to Odeline, and Roenick attempted to try and block it, screen Waite, and that made it 2-1. And then poor coverage once again. The Blackhawks give up an odd man situation here. They have everybody in shape here, but once the puck gets to the front of the net, 2 guys go to the Canadian player, and that enables the defenseman Brisebois to come in. Again, a defenseman let go, and the 4th goal, 3 of them at even strength, another odd man break, and a defenseman carries it up. Desjardins to Muller as Jimmy Waite overplayed it, and some miscues by the Hawk defense and their defensive coverage in their half of the ice really hurt them in the second period.
Well, the Blackhawks still have been able to create some chances at the offensive end, although not that many in the second period. But what do you expect is being talked about as they get ready for the 3rd?
Well, there's still a lot of time. They'll still get their chances. They just have to make sure that they don't get caught in deep and give up the odd man break as they did in that second period. They've got to play a lot smarter. Make sure they don't get any more, and they'll probably get a power play or 2. The power play is working. They'll get a chance or 2. The next goal obviously is a big goal. If they can score it, they can put a lot of pressure on Montreal and make it an interesting finish.
Canadians will take a 2-goal lead into the 3rd period, 4-2 Montreal. We'll be back with the 3rd in just a moment.
Congratulations to James Vignall of Bridgeview. Tonight's Budweiser Blackhawks Dream Sweepstakes winner will enjoy lunch with the player coach or other Hawk management person. Remember, you can play the Budweiser Dream Sweepstakes. Just look for an official entry form at participating Budweiser retailers. No purchase necessary. You must be 21. We'll be giving away a chance to attend a Hawks practice during tomorrow's game against Tampa on the Loop AM 1000.
Here we go with the 3rd period, 4-2 Montreal. As the draw is shot into the Chicago zone. Murphy. Chelios, whose return pass deflects and got to Murphy. Walking into the Montreal end. Murphy looks for Roenick behind the net. Odeline gave him a rough ride behind the goal and takes it away. Lyle Odeline's been a very physical performer tonight for the Canadiens. Clears it to center. And Carbonneau gets it over the Hawk line. Carbonneau tied up by Chelios, and Murphy Chelios. Now Larmer's back out there after getting leveled in the second period. Got a cross check in the back, which slowed him up, but he's back out there early in the third, and now a stick above the shoulder call stops the play.
Hawks have only come from behind Pat 3 times, 18 losses and 4 ties after 2 periods. Montreal has lost only 1 time. They've had the lead 34 times, and they've won 33 of the 34 times with the lead after 2.
Meanwhile, Toronto has just scored, and they've taken a 3-2 lead over the Edmonton Oilers in Maple Leaf Gardens. The third period of that game. Here's Goulet in behind the Canadian at the wraparound and roll off the end of a stick. And the Canadiens clear it ahead. Leclerc. The Hawk line. Brown rubbed him off there. Now Graham standing behind the net. Gave it to Kuchera, who shot it to center. And it's dumped right back into the Chicago zone. Keith Brown. Pass at the feet of Goulet. Muller puts it back in. Dirk Graham unable to clear it. Lehman's pass deflected by Graham though, and Rutu unable to get it out against Lehman. Jocelyn Lemieux on the far side. He's tied up by Lehman. Gary Lehman having a good shift for the Canadiens here. Twice he's prevented the Hawks from coming out with it. Now finally they do as Kuchera will shoot it in. To the near side, Lemieux had it knocked away. To the corner goes Lemieux. Jocelyn Lemieux working against Kevin Haller. They hack at it along the boards. And Savard is down on top of the puck, and the whistle sounds.
Haller and Lemieux in a wrestling match, shoving at each other while Haller lay on top of Lemieux. A slow start, and it probably suits Montreal Canadiens just fine. The first 2.5 minutes, they've been unable to get a quality chance. The Blackhawks and have had difficulty getting any pressure on the Canadiens in their zone.
Meanwhile, Dale, I mentioned the score in Toronto with the Leafs just taking the lead 3-2 over the Edmonton Oilers. There's some other NHL news tonight, and hockey fans everywhere have to be thrilled.
Amazing. 8 goals in his last 2 games. Barry Lemieux, another 4-goal performance and an assist. He had 4 and 2 the other night. So 11 points in his last 2 games, 8 of them goals for Mario, who just a month ago was undergoing radiation for Hodgkin's disease. That's an amazing story. What a great athlete, a great man.
The Penguins rolling along tonight, and the big guy is back apparently. And if he's not at full strength, I imagine any opponents would not want to see him when he is at full strength. Now he's just been lighting it up the way he has in days gone by. So that's great news for hockey fans. You see big number 66 back in full stride for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Here's the play into the Hawk zone, down Foose to the near corner. Big Marchman, a rough ride there.
Dan Foose wouldn't go in first, and then waited for Marchman to go in, and then rammed him from behind.
Now the puck is shot up over the glass and into the crowd.
Well, just prior to that, Troy Murray, who's had a good game, has had probably the better chances for the Blackhawks throughout it. Even Strength has had 3 or 4 good chances. Had a long shot from the blue line and almost misplayed. Dan Foose had every opportunity to go in and get that puck, but elected to let Marchman go and then hit him from behind.
Face off outside the Chicago line. Tomorrow night the Hawks are on home ice against the Tampa Bay Lightning. 7 o'clock with the radio pregame coverage along the network lines. The Hawks and the Lightning tomorrow night in the stadium. Here's the draw. Taken by Dion. Chelios knocked him down. He bounces around into the Hawk zone on the stick of Steve Smith. listed on both Hawk goals. He stepped away from a Carbonneau check, but his pass is stolen. Odeline is shot and a save by Waite. Rebound controlled by Roenick. Jeremy Roenick gave it to Chelios. Now Mateau. On the feed. Noonan, the pass was behind him. And Smith goes back into his own end. Taken by Ruutu into the Montreal zone. Stops on the near side. The Hawks are changing. Ruutu finally ran out of time and taken away by DiPietro. Clearing to Todd Ewan with a long slap shot and a save by Waite. He cleared it to Ruutu. Christian Ruutu. And his pass deflect right back to him. Steps over the Montreal line. Ruutu to the near side. A backhander and a save by Waugh. Rebound in behind the net. Corralled by the Canadiens. Brisbois, he couldn't get it out. Dufresne, rather. Now on the far side, Dirk Graham worked it loose to Goulet. Trying to feed Ruutu, and it didn't click. Keith Brown in deep, but his pass is picked off, and Dufresne will safely shoot it back into the Chicago zone, and it goes through the goal crease, so no icing. 5 minutes gone in the third, a 2-goal Montreal lead. Shoots it into the Canadian end. On the far side, Murphy bumped in the corner by Hill, and it's cleared to the line. Russell able to keep it in. Bounce one toward the net. Waugh gloves it and holds it. Early in period 3, it's Montreal 4 and Chicago 2 on the Blackhawk Network.
Well, a sluggish start for the Blackhawks, down by a couple of goals, unable to get really any pressure and some quality chances as yet in the first 5 minutes and 27 seconds. They need to pick it up.
Here's the draw. Sutter to the near corner. Wrapped up there by Muller. He won't get away from him. Roy Murray trying to dig it out of there. The Canadiens come up with it and clear to center. And they dump it in from there.
There's excellent coverage in that shift in their own zone, and then they make the safe play to get it in deep into the Chicago territory.
Hawks clear to center, bounced away from Haller to Sutter. Sutter moving in there, shoots one, and a save by Waugh, and he holds on.
Puck bounced away. Sutter was able to sidestep the check and shoot the puck from a sharp angle. Waugh made it look easy as he stood up against the near post, and the shot went into his big glove.
Yeah, while we have a quick second here, I'd like to pass along congratulations to a couple of great high school programs. They had the state championship game today at Chicago Stadium, and the DJ LeVar coached Loyola Academy Gold. My alma mater had a great year on the ice. They had 2 teams. Both of them were pretty good. Loyola Academy Gold made it all the way to the championship game under DJ LeVar's coaching in his first year. But they could not beat the awesome team put together by Fremd High School. Wow, an undefeated season for Fremd. They win today. They're the state champs. Our congratulations to Fremd, and they've had a 3-year run that has been unparalleled.
And you'll get to see that game right after. Well, we might not see that game tonight.
After something, we'll probably see it, but it's already been on. So we hope you did catch it. But Fremd High School, undefeated season, 3rd straight year the state champs in hockey, and that is quite an accomplishment. I don't think it's ever been done before in Illinois high school history. And here's a man shaken up behind the Canadian net. Ruutu, that is. He's just now scraping himself up off the ice as the play has gone all the way to the other end, and Ruutu going to find where his chin is. It's still there. As the Hawk Steve Smith had his pass picked off. Savard tried to center down Foose. He was sandwiched as he moved up the slot. And Chelios couldn't get it away from Savard, but then Chelios stole his pass. Carrying it to Graham on the right wing board. Larmer getting into the Montreal zone. Trying to split the defense, unable to do it. And Dion moves up the left side. Here to Keane over the line. Get away from Keith Brown, though. Now Kuchera. Into the feed to Roenick, whose pass is picked up by Dion. Moving in, lets it go. And Roenick recovered to deflect that one wide. Murphy the other way. Was surrounded by Canadians. They had 4 men back, with the Hawks having 2 men carrying it up the ice.
Williams did a marvelous job of stifling the Blackhawks here in the first 8 minutes of this third period.
Bellows almost had his knee taken out by Marchment. Now goes at him. Delivered a cross check, but the play goes on. And here's Damphousse over the line to Bellows. Center one down. Foose. His shot hit Russell. Coming to the near corner and Marchment. And down goes Damphousse, and off will go Troy Murray, and a penalty will send the Canadiens to the power play. Montreal leads at 4-2 on the Blackhawk Network.
Troy Murray was going to get the initial penalty, then after the whistle blew, a lot of pushing and shoving, and some extra penalties dished out, but I believe the Canadiens will go to the power play. Troy Murray. Nice dive by Damphousse as he tried to interfere with him. Damphousse went down in a hurry, and that's the penalty.
Then Marchment, who we said earlier in that shift almost took Bellows' knee out, was the target after we left you. A couple of Canadians went at Brian Marchment, and both Damphousse and Muller have been sent off here for the Canadiens. Or no, just Damphousse has gone off. So coincidentals to Damphousse and Marchment. And Troy Murray with the initial penalty will send the Canadiens to the power play.
One of their 4 goals has been scored in the power play. Tied it up at 6:27. Bellows with a tap in. And a nice feed from Damphousse.
Here's the draw to Haller at the near point. Long wrist shot through. Everybody to wait, and he stopped it. Then the rebound shot just wide, and the Hawks will be 2 men short as Lehman was knocked down by Chelios. And a 2-man advantage for Montreal here.
Well, this is getting a little ridiculous. And now another, because the Hawks have had 2 2-man advantages. Canadiens had a 5-minute power play. Chelios going to be sent off for upending Lehman after he had a quality chance on the rebound. Waite makes a save on the initial shot. And then the save, and then Chelios gives Lehman a shot from behind, and the arm goes up. So the Blackhawks in big trouble. 2-man advantage for 1 minute 50 seconds and a 2-goal deficit. So the Canadiens in great shape here to finish off the Blackhawks.
2 minutes for cross-checking at 8 minutes 28 seconds.
And did they add 10 to
No. At 8 minutes 28 seconds.
So the Canadiens with a 2-man advantage and a 4-2 lead. Face off to the right of Waite. And the draw taken by Smith. Carrying it around the boards, and Graham jammed it loose to center. Brent Sutter surrounded by Canadiens there. Here's Brian Bellows over the Chicago line. Out on the near board. Deep slot to Brisebois. Takes a look to Bellows. He's in the near corner. Brian Bellows to the side of the net with it. Put a deep slot to Brisebois. He shoots. He scores! Patrice Brisebois might have gotten a tip in, but the Canadiens on a 2-man advantage have a 5-2 lead.
I think the shot hit the shaft of Dirk Graham's stick and went straight up and over the shoulder of Jimmy Waite. Brisebois from Bellows, and Brisebois let it go, and it picked up speed and height when it hit the shaft of Dirk Graham's stick, I believe. Just went up and over the shoulder of Jimmy Waite. A power play goal, a 2-man advantage goal, and Montreal with a commanding 5-2 lead now. And Brisebois' 10th of the year and 2nd goal of the night.
So a 1-man advantage for the Canadiens now. Chardon shoots it in. Larmer gets to it and clears. Bellows and Muller are given the assists on Brisebois' goal at 9:01 of the third period. A goal and 3 assists for Kirk Muller in this game. And Muller approaching his career high as far as points are concerned. He now has 89 points this season. Here's a Roenick steal to Goulet right in. Big save by Waugh. And the rebound just eluded Roenick. A huge stop for Patrick Waugh. Here come the Canadiens back, but offside is the call.
Goulet with a good hook, got away with one, and squirted to Roenick. Roenick back to Goulet. Goulet with a bouncing puck, waited, trying to beat Waugh. As he hesitated, Chardon was hooked by Goulet, spun around, lost it to Roenick, back to Goulet. Goulet waited, tried to go high to the blocker side, and Waugh made the save. Bellows now with 800 career points, getting 2 assists, a goal and an assist tonight, and that's 800 career points for Brian Bellows.
And Jacques Demers brings him right back onto the ice, and he gets a huge ovation from the Forum faithful. Just to finish off Kirk Muller, his career high is 94 points. He's got 89 now. With a 4-point game going here. And the Hawks are able to clear it back into the Montreal zone. Here's Muller. And to the right to Brown, who shoots it in. Patrice Brisebois. Cleared it to center. Muller gets the Hawk line. He put it to Bellows. Carrying it around the boards. Came loose in front of the net. Here's Bellows. Oh, he hit Wade in the shoulder. Rebound in behind. Muller centered it. Bellows. He scores. 801 points now. Brian Bellows scores his second goal of the game, and it's 6-2 Canadiens.
Well, that's why I was glad Bellows got traded from Minnesota to Montreal. We saw him 8 times a year instead of just twice a year, and he has a big game tonight with 2 goals and an assist. His second attempt came right back out to him after Waite made a good save on a blast from in front of the net that hit him in the shoulder. And Bellows' first shot stopped by Waite. Waite really having a problem with his balance tonight, moving ahead, and that time was down, and Bellows snuck it past Chelios and past Jimmy Waite and into the net. And it's 6-2 Montreal.
Second goal of the game for Brian Bellows. That'll be the 4th assist of the game for Kirk Muller to go along with a goal. A 5-point night for the alternate captain of the Canadiens, Kirk Muller.
35th of the season, second tonight. Scored by number 20,
Brian Bellows, now in 77 games against the Hawks, has scored 43 goals, 91 points. Muller and Lehman get the assists on that Bellows tally. Came just after the Hawk penalty had expired, so it's an even strength goal. And now Roenick, that is pass stolen by Dion. There Dion shoots it in. Here's Dion into the near corner, centered one. DiPietro couldn't find the handle. Out comes Roenick. Jeremy Roenick to the Montreal line. Behind the net. Very close down. Here's a fight off the play. A man was trying to get at Roenick. Russell stepped in on Odeline. And Russell has the left loose. He's giving Odeline some problems, and now landed the left as they both were sprawling toward the ice.
It's about time somebody went at Odeline. He's had a physical game all night long, getting away with a lot of stick work. Cross-checked Larmer a couple of times. Has been really aggressive. And he went after Roenick, and finally Russell stepped in, and he corked him one and sent him to the ice with a left. Cam Russell did. And good play on Russell's part. Should have done it earlier. That was the only problem. Canadiens now, Pat, have scored 102 goals in the third period this year. The opposing team has scored 72. Talked about the Blackhawks' great third period. The Montreal Canadiens have done very well in all 3 periods, but especially the third.
So Russell and Odeline go off at the 11:30 mark. And the Canadiens, who were beaten by the Blackhawks earlier in this season, about to exact a measure of revenge here tonight. Beaten and shut out by the Hawks. But they hit the man who whitewashed him earlier, Jimmy Waite. They've hit him for 6. Oh, you can't, really not all Jimmy Waite's fault. He was pretty much left to fend for himself for the better part of the second period here tonight. There have been a couple of point-blank goals scored by the Canadiens as well. Here's a long wrist shot by Ewan that Waite gloves. And back in the net, DiPietro jammed loose, but Murray steals. Roy Murray clearing it in there. Canadiens unable to get it out. Lemieux on the far side. Put it to the near point, and Chelios cleared it into the corner. Murray trying to center one. Good coverage by the Canadiens. DiPietro shot it to the neutral zone. Taken there by Smith. Shooting it in. Route 2 on the far side with a wrist shot deflecting up high. Elliott keeps it into Goulet. Put it in behind the net. Graham's pass didn't get past Hill. Now they wrestle in behind the goal. Goulet has it there. Michel Goulet battling with Haller. Here's a wraparound and roll right through the goal crease. Down the near side, Graham. Got it to the corner, and Chelios. Robert stepped into him. And a hand pass called here by linesman Ron Finn. Will stop the play. 7 minutes left. 6-2 Montreal on the Hawk Network. Well, just as we left you, just a matter of time before this game exploded. It's been physical throughout. Players have gone beyond the rules far too often tonight. Paul Dvorsky's had a tough time trying to keep a handle on it. And just as we were leaving, Mario Roberge went at Brian Marchment at center ice. Certainly Marchment has been and will continue to be a target. And as Roberge gave him a whack, Marchment gave him a shot back. Then Graham came in and gave Roberge a good cross check right across the arms.
Well, just a matter of time, Pat. The game getting out of control, score-wise and extracurricular as well. And it's not been a banner night for the Blackhawks. Now it's a situation where Roberge is considered their tough guy, trying to get at Marchment for Marchment's knee attempt, not only once but twice in the neutral zone tonight.
10 minutes de mauvaise conduite de chacun à 12 minutes 55 secondes.
So now order has been restored, and coaches will get their players out there to try to get the next face-off dropped.
10 minutes misconduct penalty at 12 minutes 55 seconds.
Well, after the altercation between Russell and Odeline, Roberge and Marchment will get misconduct penalties and be gone for the rest of this night. And Dvorsky should have maybe called that type of penalty earlier in the game and maybe cut down a lot of the nonsense that's been going on in most of this game. Meanwhile, Toronto has taken a 4-2 lead. I believe that might be a final score over Edmonton at Maple Leaf Garden. So Toronto pulls within 2 more of the Blackhawks.
The Norris division now looks like this. Chicago with 88 points, Detroit with 87, and Toronto with 85.
You know, why does Marchment get an additional minor? Why does he get 4 minutes?